Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to another show of Dynasty or Bust. I'm your host, LaDonna. I know it's been a while. It's been a long, long time. But I'm back and we are talking about fantasy football. You know, I love me some fantasy football, just like I love everything else. Um, I do want to say happy football because I only do it during football season. Some people do it all year round. I only do it through August through February, maybe January, um, depending if I have enough listeners that do that far along fantasy. I know only a couple. I know my uncle does it. He does it fantasy all the way up to the Super Bowl, which is much harder, but they pay big, 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 big bucks for it. And I'm too broke for that. Um, Bear with me for a second, as can't find stuff. There we go. But yeah, I'm broke, so I can't afford all that. So, like I said, as we're going today, we are going to talk about top 20 QBs and top 20 running backs. I even have a few sleepers for both, and I also want to talk about how to draft and when to draft because I think that's a big, big part um, in fantasy football because some people um, want to know um, when to draft, who to draft. Um, Everybody wants to know who to draft. Everybody knows most of the big names, so that should not really be an issue. Um, it's when to draft these people, I think, is the biggest for a lot of people, especially if you haven't played or you've only played like once. Then yeah, you're going to be like, whoa. Um, I've had some people. I think I've mentioned if you've watched my show before, I've had some people actually draft some I would not believe. Hey, Matt. I had some people draft like some outrageous first picks and don't beat them because they lost, and then they don't understand why they lost because they drafted horribly. Um, don't be the auto picker. I hate every one of y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I hate an auto draft picker. If you can't be at the draft, either take it with you on your phone. You can draft from your phone now. Do something else. Hey Charles, uh, but don't be that auto draft picker if you don't have to be. Unless it's like the last two rounds, okay. But or the people that do auto draft and don't set it up. If you at least set it up, then it's like, okay, great. But if you don't set it up, you're like, and you're waiting forever and ever for the computer to pick it up and to say, oh my God. Um, I It irks my nerve. But we'll start talking about how to draft and who to draft. I always say go with the flow of your draft. Most of the time that helps. Most of the time that works. But a lot of people don't realize what they're doing. Unless you have like a 14-man league or higher, and then I would say, kind of go out the norm because you already realize, there's not really that many running backs. Um, but go with the flow. Try to draft running backs first and draft them as often as possible. That way, you definitely have your two running backs. I always tell people I try to get my running backs immediately. Um, Even if it's like a great running back, like last year, I think I drafted like Christian McCaffrey first, and my backup was David Johnson to him. And I got Cohen like later on, and actually Cohen ended up really helping me with Christian McCaffrey. But like I said, it just depends. Um, it really depends on your flow of the thing, with their draft and the people in it. My people are usually look up everything, so they stick with running backs first, then try to get your wide receiver. Um, in like after that, round 2 or 3. Um, yes, and my son is cranky. If you hear him in the background, I gotta tell somebody. I have the worst babysitter, and you will hear me say this. Um, the worst babysitter. I need a new babysitter. Um, I need a new one. I'm going to find somebody new and take care of him because my husband isn't the babysitter that I need to be during my shows. But anyways, like I was stating, try to get a top tier wide receiver. Good morning, Leroy. In the first 3 rounds, and then try to take your quarterback around that. If you have like pick number 11 or 12, um, I would say try to get your quarterback and your top receiver right there if you have back to back. Um, so if you get Mahomes, like Charles is mentioning, because I will talk about Mahomes in a minute, but let's just say if you're at pick number 11 or 12 and you can get Mahomes, then I would go out the norm and be like, I'm going to go get Travis Kelce immediately because tight ends aren't usually picked up. They're usually picked up like right after quarterbacks, but because there's only so many tight ends in the league, I would pick them up like Mahomes and Kelce immediately. Um, I would not pick up too many other tight ends, but if you can try to get Matt Ryan, Julio. Last year I had Jared Goff and I had Cooper Cup and I had Woods. Even if you get Kirk Cousins, try to get Thielen or try to get Diggs. Um, yes, Kelce, Travis Kelce is his top wide receiver. Um, I understand Hill is back, but Kelce has been his trusted tight end. But if you tried, I always try to get the quarterback and their highest position player or their trusted position player, so you know you're going to get double the points in that game. Um, Even if you might have a running back too, but how many points are you going to get from the quarterback to the running back? Not that many. So you should try to get, I tell this all the time, try to get the top, your whatever quarterback you have, try to find a tight end or wide receiver, especially a top end wide receiver, to go with it. And you should get great points from both. Um, Wait until the later rounds to get a kicker and defense. Do not be anxious and pick up a Chicago Bears defense and then you left DeAndre Hopkins on the board for the next person. Like that's crazy. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. I'm trying to help or girl. I'm trying to help you out. And then watch your bye weeks. This is like the biggest one. Um, yes, Brady to Edelman would actually be perfect. Um, because Brady, you can find any receiver from Brady, and more likely Brady is going to find any and every uh any receiver he has, any tight end he has, he's going to find. Good morning, Mad Mike. You're never late. You're just fashionably late. We won't tell nobody. Um, but again, watch your bye weeks. I know a lot of people that would be like, you look up and you have like 4 people on by week 9. That's the biggest issue is when you pick your running backs, Make sure your backups do not have the same week, or you're going to be on that wire, or you're going to be without a running back. So I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to give a little bit of pointers here. Also, trust your cheat sheet. When I say trust your cheat sheet, trust it, because right now, um, it's the thing that you have going for you. It's the thing that you have been that you've been working on. Do not allow your friends to tell you something different. Do not allow them to say this isn't, this isn't who you should get, unless you ask them saying, "Hey, I don't really have this person on my sheet. Where do you rank them?" But I usually don't even ask people. I Google my phone real quick. If I know my pick is coming up and I see somebody and I'm like, I pull it up. If I don't trust my sheet, I pull it up. I don't go after any others, because especially not when you're rooting, these people are rooting against you to lose. Especially if it's money involved, I'm definitely not asking anybody else, because they want your money. They want you to lose. Um, they might say that it's a good pick, or I was going to pick that. Okay, I get it. But other than that, don't 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 listen. Don't don't listen at all. Uh, they they're going to screw you. They are going to screw you over. Um, and then the next thing, like I tell people, know your know how to draft from any spot too. Um, I was just in a group chat the other day, and people were complaining because they weren't going to be able to know what number they were going to be. This is why you just prepare yourself for knowing majority of the top 10 players in every position for your first few rounds. So then okay, if this person's off the board, I could probably go after so and so. But know how to draft from any spot. Charles just asked, and if you're wondering where I'm getting these people, we are live on YouTube. I have shared this in different couple of spots. But Charles said, "Would you draft Kyler Murray?" I am not for sure. What I did see Thursday night, he didn't look bad. I will give him that. They said that mug faces. Yes, that's me. I did say he didn't look horrible. I probably would draft him, but I don't know if I would start him immediately. I would probably stash him away, and try to see where it goes from there. I don't know if I would immediately start him unless he changes my mind in the in these bye weeks. I mean, these preseason games. Um, but hey, I would definitely get him as a backup, especially if you already have him there and he goes off, then you can throw him in the game. My friend Dre last year, for some odd reason, he he was in a league last year, and somehow Patrick Mahomes was not drafted in his league. If anybody paid attention to Patrick Mahomes and all the hype around him, he was got, and he was got immediately in my league. And actually in all my leagues last year, he was picked up, bam. So I don't even know how he even lasted as long. But yeah, he wrote me and was like, "Would you pick him up?" And I'm like, "How is he even still available?" Yes, get him immediately. So if that answers your question, Charles, if I were you, if I would stash him, I would pick him up and stash him. Um, but let's go ahead and talk about top 20 quarterbacks. Right now, my number one quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. I do have him number one. I do not see anybody beating him right now. There's a couple that might be not far behind him, but the year that he had last year, it was monstrous. and I can't believe what he did. I knew he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was going to be that good. So hats off to him. Hats off to Kansas City finally getting a quarterback that they finally deserved, because it's been a very, very, very long time for them to get a quarterback. My number two is Andrew Luck. Right now, he's not playing in the preseason. He is a little banged up, but what's new? But I do think Andrew will be fine. He is going to make it through. Deshaun Watson is my number three. You know, he has DeAndre Hopkins down there. You can't get no better than that guy. But the next guy is Matt Ryan. He is my number four. And Atlanta has Julio Jones, which makes everything better. Um, Julio is going to be great. Um, Everybody knows that Dakota was. I don't even think Dakota is in my top 20. Um, and yeah, he's not. No, he actually is. Dakota is in my top 13. He's number 13. But let me get there. But yeah, if you know me, you already know, because I know Dakota is not my top 10. I gave him a little bit of credit because of his numbers. Um, but that is it. I put Luck at number two, just the simple fact, as you said, you have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is down my list because of the injuries. He seems to can't stay healthy these last few years. Aaron Rodgers is not that scary as he has been. Number five is old man Drew Brees. He's still kicking it, and he's still doing great. Cam Newton is next. If he can stay healthy, he's like the one with the asterisk. He is the biggest one I think on this list that I am worried about uh, for health reasons. Can he stay healthy? I think he definitely can. Um, Carson Wentz is actually another one that's on here, but he's not as scary. Baker Mayfield, number eight. Aaron Rodgers is my number nine, and Russell Wilson is my number 10 quarterback. Um, um, Dex, whatever. Jared Goff is my number 11. Big Ben. I know some people are going to be like, why do you still have Big Ben in number 12? Because there's this guy named Juju that needs the ball thrown to him, and I actually like Juju. Uh, we're not going to talk about that whole AB situation. If you don't know it, Google it. I know I know a lot of Steelers fans that are happy that he is gone. That's all I can say. We're at number 13. That is Dakota Prescott. I was debating on putting him at number eight, like even in my top 20, um, because of Cam Newton. Cam Newton is number six, and I have Russell Wilson at number 10. Um, I am a I am a big believer that Cam has to have this breakout year. That's the reason why I chose that situation. Um, but Dakota, his numbers are just looks great on paper. He's one of those great on paper quarterbacks, and you'll hear more about Dakota on my husband's show. He will be he will have a cowboy show, moving the chain reaction. It's coming on after every Cowboys game. It does start after the Cowboys game tonight. I'm not for sure if it's going to start tonight or if not tomorrow morning, due to the fact that the game starts so late since it is in California. Kyler Murray is my number 14 pick. Number 15, Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers is probably the most slept on quarterback besides Matt Ryan on this list, due to the fact that I watched him closely last season, and it was so many. He was looked over because of what was happening with Mahomes. And I kept trying to let people know last season that you're sleeping on this dude. Stop sleeping on him. Because he was getting overshadowed by Patrick Mahomes and all this greatness. He still had an amazing year. You missed it, man, Mike. I had Andrew Luck is still my number two overall on my top list. Uh, on this list, I do not think these injuries are going to affect him. I do think, from what I've been reading, he'll be fine. I don't think it's going to hold him out. Um, I think he'll be great. I still think he'll be great. I don't see any why he won't be. I think he'll have another great year. Him and T.Y. Hilton. Um, and then my number 16 is Jameis Winston. This is kind of like a break or bust moment for him. I know a lot of Tampa Bay fans that they wish they would have got another quarterback. They wish they would have picked up Marcus Mariota instead of him. Well, you got crab legs. I'm sorry, you got him. Number 17, Mitch Trubisky. Last year he did some good things, and I did not think he was going to do as well. A lot of us slept on him, like his potential at the beginning of the year, and ta-da. Lamar Jackson, he did come in a little bulked up. His first game, he did not run, not once. I think they're going to try to make him a non factor in running. Like, I think they're trying to slow that down, and he's got to work on more of his accuracy in his arm. 19 is Tom Brady, and then Kirk Cousins finishes that top 20 quarterback. It's, like I said, Tom Brady is definitely going to do what Tom Brady does. It does not matter where you put him, he's going to be there. Yeah, Jameis, he has to. He has to be he has to be a dynasty or bust. Like, he has to. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Um, it can't be this way for him any much longer, because he hasn't done much. They look horrible. I did watch his game, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on in Tampa. It dude's new. I I I can't help him. I do have some sleeper QBs. I did this list, and I was like, man, I got this guy on here, and I've been doing this list for a while, even though it's only five of each. Um, Five quarterbacks and five running backs. It's still, the time that it takes in to get into it, it's still a lot. Josh Allen, even though he showed promise last year, his rookie year, he loves to run, but his accuracy, again, we're talking about accuracy, is the biggest question. Now, the question is for you all, would you take a chance on him? Would you take a chance on him? I am not completely sold, but again, he's another quarterback that I would take if I needed a backup. Um, he would not be my main uh, quarterback, but he would be my backup quarterback, and this would allow you to see if you have a right QB in your spot, or you need to go learn and find another one. His biggest thing, because he did only have 8 touchdowns. I mean, he had 10 touchdowns last year. He had 2,074 yards. Um, he did end up with 12 interceptions, which isn't too horrible for your first year. So that can be fixed. I do think he has, like I said, just a little bit of potential, but I would definitely stash him if that's who you are looking for. Um, my second guy has an asterisk mark, and this is what I was saying. Jesus, the second guy is Derek Carr, because I had him on this list thinking, like, yay, they're going to get a wide receiver, and yay, it's going to look so different because they got a wide receiver, and then AB, you're killing my list, dude. You're killing my list. But last year, even though it was so under probably quiet unless you're a Raiders fan, Carr put up his best career completion percentage. I bet y'all didn't know that. I bet y'all did not know that because I didn't even really pay attention to it. So if I didn't really see it, and you're not a Raiders fan, you probably really didn't see it either because you were so focused on them losing, Amari Cooper getting traded, uh, Mac leaving. Yeah, so now AB question mark. Um, they did get Terrell Williams there too, and that's another big time receiver that they need, but they really need AB. We'll see with this whole helmet situation, how great he does. My number three is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a I don't know if I really consider him a sleeper, but I did put him on this list because we did not get to see him last season too much because of the ACL tear. Um, he was doing great. Um, he was doing great with them. Um, Leroy, I do not know if this is Carr's last year due to the fact that I don't know too many teams that's going to take on that contract. Carr's contract, remember that big old extension that he got? Um, I don't know if anybody is going to want to touch that or want to be involved in that. Um, Eli is not on this list. I do apologize. But Derek's Carr got that 5-year extension 2 ago. So he's there till 2022. And his contract next year, if I look up the right numbers, he gets 19 million this year, 18 million next year, 21 and 22, he gets 19 more million apiece. Again, I am not for sure if anybody is going willing to pay Derek Carr that type of money, but the Oakland Raiders. Um, number like I said, go back to Jimmy Garoppolo. I do think he'll do good for somebody because, like I said, he was doing double digits. He had double digit points. He was making over 10 points or more. It just depends on um, how you have him, how you have your quarterback set up. Number 4 is Marcus Mariota. I put him on here, and I stated earlier he's much of a sleeper because a lot of people do ignore his talent. He would be a great backup. Right now, what depends on his greatness is Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker injury was like horrible because Delaney was having one of the best years last year. And Corey Davis, finally, he's another one, kind of like what we call Jameis Winston. You need to have a dynasty or you're going to be a bust, and I think you're going to probably be on the streets. I think you'll find another team, but Corey Davis needs to show up. He's had his great, he'll have like his hit or miss games. He's definitely up kind of like this. So he needs to just shine this season for the Titans. And number 5, I put on here, and you're going to be like, some people are going to be like, what? But it's not even Stafford. It's actually Sam Darnold. Uh, if you don't know who Sam Darnold is, he plays for the Jets. Last year, he didn't look, like I said, he didn't look completely horrible. He did have 15 INTs, but this year things should change. Um, they got a new head coach, Adam Gase, a new OC, and a new quarterback coach. Remember, Gase was with Peyton in Denver when they won, and he helped Peyton. Besides the coaches, they did add Jamison Crowder from the Redskins to the wide receiver core, as well as running back Le'Veon Bell. I think that all puts, like I said, is all a positive moment for him to be better. It's definitely is going to help. It should not hurt. If he gets worse, then it's a problem. But I don't see him getting worse. I do see him actually becoming the quarterback that they ranked him. I'm gonna drafted him for. I don't think he's going to be like a Tom Brady, but I do think he has the potential to be great. Um, we are going to go ahead and talk about running backs. Um, I had Ezekiel Elliott as my number one, and it wasn't a homer pick. It's just, I really wanted to put Ezekiel and Saquon at number one together. It was like 1A, 1B, because I really think those two, they're top talent, um, can't be messed with. Uh, but Ezekiel, you're killing me. You're killing me. I don't know if you're coming back. Uh, so we shall see. Saquon Barkley for the Giants. That's basically all they got besides their tight end, because their wide receivers have decided to get hurt. Christian McCaffrey for Carolina. He won everything for me last year. Alvin Kamara is number 4 from New Orleans. Todd Gurley, even though he has arthritis in his knees, I do think he is going to still have uh, a great season. I hope Zeke is automatic TDs. He needs to be. He needs to be in there. Um, and Charles, you're only saying Saquon should be first is because you're a Giants fan. Like I said, 1A, 1B, I have them tied. Even though I wrote it up as 1, 2, I really want them. I like them both but we have to see what he does his sophomore year. Sometimes a lot of players go through that sophomore slump and they don't look good. So we shall see. Number 6 is Le'Veon Bell. Number 7, I do like David Johnson. Uh, and number 8, Joe Mixon from Cincinnati. Number 9, one of my saviors from last season, James Conner for Pittsburgh. Number 10 is definitely his numbers. His ratings have spiked since they just did um, a trade. The Browns just traded. Now I'm having a total blank. Now that I can't even think, the Browns. The Browns just traded Duke. No, they didn't trade Duke, did they? Um, yes, they did trade. They traded Duke Johnson, and so Chubb's numbers should go up um greatly. Dalvin Cook. I'm sorry. After Nick Chubb is Melvin Gordon, but again, is he going to play? Dalvin Cook is number 12. Damian Williams is number 13. Leonard Fournette is number 14. Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay. Aaron Jones. I said Aaron Rodgers talking to Charles. Ha, ha, ha. Aaron Jones, their running back, is number 15. Marlon Mack for Indy is number 16. Devontae Freeman's number 17. Number 18 is Sony Michel. He had a great season for them for the Patriots last year. Kerryon Johnson is number 19, and Derrick Henry. This is like a contract season for him, I think. So don't be surprised if you see him actually look way better than he normally does. Um, I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know. This is what happens. Contract seasons, we all know. Sleeper running backs. Darius Juice from the Redskins is actually a sleeper that I have on this list, despite of him tearing his ACL last preseason. I still predict him to have a good season for the Redskins because basically, again, they don't really much else. He will be behind AP. Their running backs, I think, will say is the only thing that they have there. I'm serious. Um, he will help AP out tremendously since AP is getting up there in age. So if he can stay healthy and he does not get hurt, He's a good sleeper to look at. Ronald Jones, um, from the Bucks last year, he was complete dud last year. But you have to remember he got new coaches this offseason, and he did add on some mass. He added on some weight. So the coaches are loving him in camp right now, but everybody loves everybody in camp right now. So Ronald Jones is another sleeper pick. Alto Smith from the Falcons. Now that Tevin Coleman is gone. I just called him the singer. Haha. Tevin Coleman is gone. He will be number 2 behind Freeman. Last year, he averaged about 3.5 yards per carry, but I think that will improve tremendously now that Coleman is gone. Number 4, I do have a sleeper, is David Montgomery. David Montgomery is a rookie from Iowa State. Everyone has high hopes for this kid, and he will be behind Cohen. But he will need to be filling the shoes for Jordan Howard with the Eagles. Number 5 is Tony Pollard from the Cowboys. I added him on this list just in case. We don't know if Zeke's going to be back or not. So he is looking amazing in camp right now. He's actually got moved up to first team touches. He's a versatile running back. He's from Memphis. Last year, his average was a 6.8 yards per carry. They do have Mike Weber as well. Pollard was 4th round pick. Weber was 7th round. Both of these running backs, like I said, are possible sleepers due to the fact that we do not know if Zeke is going to be here. Next week, I will be talking about wide receivers and tight ends. I will not have a draft by then. By the week after that, I will show you. I think I have a draft coming up after the show, so I will show you my drafts and show you my picks, and you guys can evaluate me. If you need me to help you with your leagues, hit me up. I'm on Facebook, LaDonna Samani. Find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Sports Diva, all one word, Sports Diva 82, all together. Sports Diva 82. Find me. I do my show normally 45 minutes to an hour, just depending. Today, since there's not that much in fantasy news, and today I really only wanted to cover quarterbacks and running backs. Next week we'll talk about the top 20 wide receivers and tight ends, and then we'll talk about kickers and defenses, and then season will be here. But catch me, like I said, on Spreaker, catch me on Anchor, catch me on YouTube, Strictly Prohibited Network. Follow the little symbol that says follow. Hit that. We'll be here next Saturday, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. I love helping. This is my favorite time of the year. It's fantasy football. So please hit me up if you have any questions, unless you're in my league. If you're in my league, I'm not helping you. That might Dre. Just listen. But I will talk to everybody next week. Have a great day. Adios. Do 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 do.